Friends, it is the day. It is the School Library Planner virtual launch party. I am so excited. I've been waiting for this all summer. Actually, I've been waiting for all year to get this planner in my hands, but I've been waiting all summer for this virtual launch party. So I want to thank all of you for attending today, whether you're here right now, whether you're watching this later on. I just want to thank you for being here and being part of not only my learning community, but my learning family, because I love and cherish each one of you. And I want to thank you for everything that you've done for me and for the profession, because we are better together. If we are not together, we are alone, and you know what happens when we're alone. So I want to thank each and every one of you for everything that you do to promote literacy, to promote reading, to promote libraries, to promote student voice and choice, to promote a welcoming environment, to promoting acceptance, to promoting accessibility, equity. I want to thank each and every one of you for what you do to help our kids. So today at our launch party, we're going to talk about some features of the planner. We're also going to talk to some Power Planner users, and we do have some of our featured librarians who are in the planner also here today. So I'm just going to go down the name of the list of names for our Power Planner users. We have Robin Porter Thompson, we have Minda King, Mandy Peterson, Heather Woods, Pam Quantz, Christine Rosa, Bernadette Roche, and Lisa Pollack. I want to thank each and every one of you because, as you know, this was an experiment. The first one, last year's was an experiment. I started investigating, I started thinking about how to get information out to librarians to help them, but also how to help them on a daily basis. And it kind of evolved. And the more I asked questions and the more I listened, the more I found out what you needed. And I keep listening to that. So our Power Planner users will talk about how they've used it, maybe the suggestions they've made to the planner. We also have a Facebook group in our community. If you don't have a planner, you might not know this, or even if you do have a planner, in your planner, we do have a QR code that goes to the community, a QR code that goes to the feedback, which is a survey that I look at and Demco looks at to improve, even if we can improve something immediately, or if it's just for the next version. And we also have a QR code to our testimonial videos for our Power Planner users. I do want to start off by saying that one of the very special things I love about this planner are the ducks. And if you are a user from last year, you'll notice that the ducks last year were in the coloring pages, and I'll show you what a coloring page, the calendar, they used to be here on the months, but that was too easy. So we want to send you on a duck hunt. So those ducks are in memory of my sister, Larissa. She loved ducks. The year that she passed away, my husband and I went out west on vacation, and in our hotel bathroom were two ducks, two rubber ducks. I mean, what are the odds of that? So I knew that her spirit was with me. So in this planner, you'll find certain days or certain events or certain pages have ducks on them because they're either very special to me or very special to my sister. And I think I believe there are 8 ducks. I think they mentioned there are 8 ducks. And the one I really couldn't find on the cover is this little duck. I don't know if you noticed this, but right on this book spine, there's a little duck. I don't know if you missed that one, but they're very faint. So it's not so easy this year to find those ducks. So that's going on a little duck hunt. So the reason why this year we had some Power Planner users record videos, whereas last year some people didn't understand how to use some of the features. Now, that's the problem. You have it in your mind what you want to say and what we want people to learn, but sometimes it's difficult to translate that. And I didn't realize that, it's that if they call it the curse of knowledge, but that doesn't mean other people know. And as educators, we always need to reflect on, okay, so I know what I'm talking about, but if people can't grasp it, then it means nothing. All right. Unless someone learns it, me teaching it means nothing. So we have some Power Planner users who talked about different features. And one of the features that I talked about was the curriculum mapping. This page right here. So a lot of people looked at this as, oh my gosh, there are all these blank spots. If you teach multiple grades, and I believe we all do, you can put in the different grade levels and you put it in the different subject areas and find out what your teachers are teaching. Are they doing a unit on fairy tales? Is there a special invention project in in science? Is there a way of these opportunities that you can collaborate? It's not just making lists, it's using those lists and the information for yourself. So lots of boxes, because I figure if you have like 6 grades or 4 grades or however you want to organize it by subject area or grade level, it's to have you know what is going on in those subject areas so you can think of ways to collaborate and also build your collection to support the curriculum. All right, so that was my little page. So we're going to, so I introduced the Power Planner users. I do want some of the featured librarians, if you're here, give a little shout out. And I do see Steve. So Steve, why don't you give a little wave, a little shout out? I do see Kevin. Hi, Kevin. I don't see everyone on my page. I know Joyce was here. Joyce Valenza was here. Anne, my friend Anne is here. Katie is here. Katie is in the book. Anyone who I'm missing who is Leslie. Leslie's in the book. There are other people who signed up. I might not see them here, and your name might not reflect your name in the book. So Isabella's here. So if you are in the book, James is here. Hi, James. And Rhonda's here. Jennifer, if I missed anyone, just say, hey, Chris, you missed me. All right. Either people are being polite or I didn't miss anyone, which is probably people being polite. Okay, so we're going to start with some Power Planner users talking about the features that either they helped give through feedback or they are their favorite features. So I'm going to go down the list. And Robin, you happen to be first on my list. So what would you like to share about your planner?
There we go. Good morning. So I am just starting this year's planner, so it's not quite as filled as my one from last year, but I actually did the power video or the power user video on the action plan goals and objectives. My Parapro is not back yet, and I really like her to work with me on this page. In my last year, I used that page for like almost like our goal setting that was on the other side, but just having like the different objectives and then the timeline and the resource, because that kind of goes with the grants and stuff that we were writing for. So that was one of my favorite. I love being able to use that. And as I was saying earlier, before some of you got on, I actually already purchased a copy of the planner, and then I won a copy. And so my Parapro now feels official as a real school librarian with her planner. I guess that's what made her feel like she was a real librarian. But I love the some of my favorite things are also the things that the people that have put things in this year. I love that. I mean, you know, we follow each other on Twitter, but to actually see more in depth some of the things that they liked. And I'm also a journaler, so the personal reflection page is one of my favorites. And then on the other side, we've kind of got where I can write those things down. So I'm a big journaler. I used to try to do it every day. You know, what did I learn today? What can I what change? Now it's more like once a week, but I love the questions because everything is just tailored just to us, to school librarians. And I don't get that from any other planner. So I love it. I'm super pumped for the second edition. And yes, Christina will continue to do these every single year.
With your help, with
our help.
With your help. Thank you so much. Minda, what would you like to say about the planner, your favorite feature?
So I had a bunch of favorite features actually. So last year was my second year as a librarian. And so when I found this planner, I was like, I'm going for it. And I think my favorite thing was the pages on how to do a book fair. I had never done one before, and last year was the first time ever, and that was extremely helpful. Um, I did my video on the goal setting sheet. Well, it's hard to see, but so I just finished my EDS and I'm about to start my PhD, and so I plan ahead. Like I have goals set, and so to see them actually like written out makes my life easier. Some of the pages that I used the most were the weekly at a glance. So that was how I kept up with everything going on at school and at grad school. And then let's see, what else did I use? I like doodled all over my book, like between me putting like paper clips to mark places that I was at and things like that. I've already kind of planned on how I was going to use it this year. So I got let go from my librarian position last year. So I'm actually going to be a special ed teacher instead. So now I'm going to have to rework everything because I couldn't find another library position in my area. So so this year is going to be very interesting on how I end up using my planner to plan this year. So I'm excited. We're about to see how this goes.
Minda, I think having a special ed background is really good for actually all teachers and especially librarians because you serve all students. So I really think that having that in your toolkit is really actually very beneficial to you and to all your students. And I would really like to know how you use the planner this year as well. As a former English teacher, I could see many uses for it in some of the features. But as a teacher with teaching students with special needs, I'm wondering how that would work too. So thank you so much. Okay, we have Mandy Peterson. Hey, Mandy.
Hey. Okay, so I am all about making something 100% useful to me. So it's going to blur it because my background's blurred. So first thing I did was I put my month tabs on. And I'm sorry, but I ripped out all the months I didn't need. I was like, I don't need July. And so I put them off to the side. I'm going to look at them before school starts, but I'm still on vacation mode in my brain until the nightmares start, which is what I told everyone. When the nightmares start, I'll look at professional stuff. So I love this edition of the planner. I really love how the tips have been reconfigured. I love that there's feedback that I can write down, like when I tried it, why I liked it. I love that there's extra videos on it on some of them. But the thing I did my video on was the professional reflection questions. I was looking through them right before this, and holy cats. Every time that I look at them, I'm just reminded of one, my vision when I first became a school librarian, what I wanted and why I wanted it, and my dispositions that I want for myself, and what I plan to do, because they used to be laid out, I believe it was each week, and now they're all collected together. So one thing that I'm going to put into my calendar on my planner is I'm going to rewrite the question somewhere. I'm not exactly sure where yet, just because it works for me to do it little by little. And if it's not in front of me, I won't do it. So if I leave it in the back of the book, it's not going to work. So like I said, I'm all about making it useful for me. I'm going to scooch those throughout my planner, and I'm going to avoid certain weeks like book fair week because there's no time to reflect on that week. But yeah, I really love how this has been reconfigured, and I'm really excited to start to increase my professionalism through the questions included.
That's funny because I was thinking of a question a week myself. And last year we had the question with a spot, which made sense to me because I figured that you would go through them each week. Some people found that number one either overwhelming because there was an empty spot they didn't fill. Okay, but that, that's what they, some people who said that they were overwhelmed. I said, okay, I respect that. And some people, which made sense, I understood more and it made sense to me, they would write down information and then they didn't know which week it was. I was like, oh, that makes sense. So now having it all in the back, it's not how I think. Last year's planner was how I think, but it doesn't help me if everyone uses it a different way. Just because I think a different with some way doesn't mean that you think that way. So that's why I had to really listen to it. So, but I again, I'm using it too. Last year I used it and I understand how having those questions in between broke it up. So I agree with that, but it was just how I thought. But I do the format was not me. The format was after speaking to lots of different people and getting feedback, and the format has changed because of that. So I'm glad you noticed that.
Just one that, I don't know if it's Mandy, but that suggested it on a group, but I did the same thing. I got the tabs. I love them.
Those are those cool, the color coordinated ones.
Yes.
They just happen to match the color scheme. I bought the tabs
Everything.
before
The
I got my
gold with the
planner.
pretty,
So
like deeper colors. I love them. And I also, I don't know, it probably was in here last year, but I just noticed that because I use this kind of stuff a lot, has a list of what celebrated each month. Sometimes I like to do my lessons around, oh wow, it's Safe Toys and Gifts Month, you know, whatever, something. They have a lot of fun with that.
I also want to give a shout out to, because this is my friend Ann's birthday today.
Yes, thank you. I'm
So-
Social Security age. And by the way, I got hired in my late 50s. Never give up.
Anne is a testament to perseverance
Thank you.
and kindness.
And you have been so awesome. You just, I can't say enough good about you.
Thank you. Thank you. So
Thank
happy
you.
birthday, Anne.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next we have Heather Wood. There you go.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. I'm sorry, I don't have my camera on. My internet's not working very well for me today. So what I did my video on was the book award lists, because when I took on this job 3 years ago, the person that preceded me had been kind of inactive for a while, so a lot of new books hadn't been purchased. And my administrators just kind of looked at me and they're like, well, just go off the award lists. And not, in my ignorance, please forgive me, in my world, librarians checked out books before I went back to college and got my master's. So I'm like, okay, so there's like the Newbery, and I could name off like 3 awards. And my administrators are like, you know what to do, just go ahead and do it. So I kind of panicked. So that was super duper helpful to me since then, in being able to, other than, I'm from Iowa, so the Iowa awards, obviously, but other awards than those, I mean, there's like endless awards, honestly. And this kind of highlights the ones that are predominant, that kind of are the most popular, I guess you could say. And then one other thing that I just did a couple weeks ago, I was talking to my English teachers. They want me to do more book talks in the middle school, high school building. And so I was like, okay, so obviously I can't read all these books. So how am I going to do book talks? How am I going to pull this off? So I went through the calendars and looked at what is celebrated each month, and so I made my book talk lists for the entire year. It's based on what's celebrated each month from those monthly calendars. So then I can go in and, you know, this is Hispanic month. So we've got some books that have Hispanic main characters, or we've got Hispanic authors. And so then I just pulled from there and designed my book talks. Now, don't get me wrong, I haven't written the things yet, but I know what I'm going to book talk about every month. And I did hear a little secret recently. I saw on a Facebook page for librarians that, for all of you that don't read all the books but need book talk information, AI is a really great way to write those book talks and sound like you know what you're talking about, and you're doing a little bit more than just reading the summary on the inside cover. So those are my 2 little snips.
Oh, I love that idea. Oh my gosh. I love how you took 2 different features and you put them together and they made it work. I would never have thought of that. That was brilliant, Heather. I love that idea.
Thank you.
Brilliant. All right, now we're going to go off to Pam. Pam. Hi, Pam.
You get unmuted here. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. There are so many wonderful features in this planner, and I want to thank Christina for listening carefully to everyone over the whole year and processing all of our input. That was really valuable, I think, to all of us. I have to have the whole month at a glance kind of thing. I use that, of course, just to keep me on track every single day, but then I need that detailed list of what's going on each day. Our school uses this really strange cascading weird block schedule that doesn't repeat in any recognizable way. And so keeping up with that is a challenge in itself. And so the planner helps me do that because I can write in all the letters of all the periods and I can see what's coming at me every day. And of course I write everything in pencil because subject to change. And so then you can change things quickly too. I do like the monthly page that has like the goals and special programming because I make notes about the themes again that might be coming up or special displays that I want to do to keep things interesting in the library. For starting the school year, I have a display with a lot of the popular movies that are going on right now. So I have a display about Oppenheimer and the Manhattan Project. I'm at a high school. And I have a Barbie display and I have a Mission Impossible display and all of that going on. So I try to, catch into the interests of the young adults that I'm working with. I did the video on the book fair page. And as I said in my little video, I only do one a year. So that gives me a whole year to forget all the details that go into making a successful book fair. And as I get older, I find that I need little reminders like that more and more. So I really like that I can just check off things that I know where I'm at with planning the book fair coming up. And I can jot down little notes to myself, and those little notes that I scribble on pieces of paper to remember for next year, I lose those. So here it is. I've got a place where I can look where, what sold well this year. So I'll remember to order more of those for next year or something like that. And I would say my absolute favorite thing in the planner this year are the tips from the movers and shakers in the library world. I just love this. And a lot of those wonderful people I was already following on social media, but there were some that I wasn't. And so that was a good thing that I did when I first got the planner. I went through and started adding those people to my social media feeds and stuff so that I can keep up with what's going on. So thank you.
Thank you too, Pam. I really love that too, because in my mind, I had all these tips that I was sharing, and I said, well, but I have all these great resources. I have all these great people, all these great friends out there, and I just love learning. So I will be honest, I was a bit selfish. I want to learn from my friends. I like giving, but I also like learning. And I feel like if I'm not learning, then I'm not living. So I really do appreciate, there are a lot of different planners out there. There are a lot of different resources out there. This is really close to my heart because of you, all of you. You're people, you're part of it. You've made this happen. You use it. You tell me what you like about it, what you don't like about it. I don't know if, I like other planners, but I don't feel that sense of community. So I really do appreciate that. I really do. So Christine Rosa. Hey, Christine.
Hi. So I don't have nearly enough time to talk about all the things I love. From the cover, oh my gosh, because I love to be able to flip it back. Last year's I took out and I put in a binder, and you can't flip a binder over. So I'm so excited about that. And I'm excited about the way that you start right at the beginning going into the month. And because it's summertime, I went ahead and colored like 6 months out, because it'll be nice to flip to that next month and see my colorful creation. But my video was about the checklists. So last year's checklist was a checkbox, and it was split in half with like a blank space. And I found that I was writing across the line anyway. And thank you so much for listening to our suggestions, because I use this. I'm going to back up a little bit all the time now. As you can see, this is just July. And what I did was I put a separate category for each major thing that I was doing. Like I have some stuff for our facility that needs to be checked up on. So that was one block. And then as there's subcategories or I get an answer to a question, then I put my next question or who I need to go to next or the date that I emailed or texted that person, so that I have kind of a record of the progression of this task. And I'm happy to say that it's the end of July and several tasks have been checked off. So I'll be going into August with what's remaining, and that's fine. The other thing that is so helpful, and I didn't realize how helpful it was until, because I kind of missed this at last year. I guess I was just more in the day-to-day grind of the lesson plans. I'm at a high school, but it's 6 to 12, and I teach a 6th grade and a 7th grade class every day. So I was in that day-to-day and who am I meeting with and who am I collaborating with? And I wasn't putting it in this wonderful kind of summary for the month page. So as I got to the end of the year, and I'm a new librarian as well, another 50-year-old turned librarian from a paraprofessional. So I didn't even have teaching background. So this was like really new for me. But I went and I had to do my, I don't know if you all call it a T-val. At the end of the year, you have to evaluate yourself and you have to give, and I'm probably doing more than I need to, but being a detailed person, I felt like I needed to go back, and I went through my calendar for every PD I did, for every collaboration I did. So it took me 2 days. And if I had kept up in it every month on the calendar, I probably could have done it in, 20 minutes. But so I'm starting this year off right now, really full, because last year was my first year as a high school librarian. And so I have a deeper understanding of the process through the year and what information I'm going to need throughout the months, throughout the year. So that's definitely going to help keep me on track and save me time at the end of the year. And then I just want to quickly mention in the back of the book where all of these tips are. So I am reading the tips. And then what I do is I'm going to just flip to this page. If it's something that I know I'm going to really use, I put a nice dark star to go back to that one. If it's something that I feel is more elementary level, then I'm just marking that down and sharing it with my counterpart at the elementary schools. So I love this. And I love that. I think there's 52, right? Did you do like one a week? I love that there's a big choice that we can pick from. And I have like the ones I really want to do. I do a bunch of stars. The ones that I think I'm going to do, I do like a little check or whatever, so that I can go back and say, okay, yeah, that was really good. I want to do that one. Where am I going to put that in? So I know it's summer and we don't start to the end of August, but this planner has given me so much help because I'm a new librarian in preparing for what I need to do for the upcoming year.
Christine, I have to thank you for that page because I've been using that page so much. And I think I reached out to you because I'm like, just having the page with the long lines. I mean, such a simple little thing. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm just going to jump in for a second. And I know it's such a little thing, but I really love my win for the week. It's just one little spot. I have to say, it's those little things like Christine, like you said, that would have made your life easier. I find that this brings me joy to help me start reflecting on things that are happening that are good. So I really like that win for the week. So yeah, thank you, Christine. You were one of the very first ones that I reached out to, and I really do appreciate that. Thank you so much. And now we're going to go to Bernadette.
There we go. That works better. I'm driving, so I just wanted to show my face for a second, and then I'm going to go back off my camera. So I'll try to make this pretty brief. When I got the planner the first year and I opened to the first days of the week, like the first week, and I remember looking at the columns and going, oh, what do I do? That's not how my brain works. And so what I've done is I have, I've broken each column into 7 boxes. That gives me 3 lines for each one, because I have 7 different grade levels that I see throughout the week. So it was so small, but it seemed to have such a big impact for my brain to be able to realize, wait a minute, this was not a lost cause. I didn't buy something that wasn't useful. It was just a matter of changing how my brain worked with the planner and how I can make the planner work with my brain. So if somebody's struggling with that, that's how I turned it into kind of more of a lesson plan type situation. And I just spent time this summer out in the sun and just went through the whole calendar and just blocked off, just drew my lines so that I was all set to put my lesson plans in. The other thing that I do to help me, and I think the previous speaker kind of alluded to it, I have to keep track of how much time I spend on professional development and how much time I spend with parent contact. And so I go through each month in those boxes, the kind of open-ended boxes for each month, and I write down, you know, how many posts did I make on Instagram, or which PD did I go to and how many hours it was, or how many minutes it was. Yes, that page, Christina. And I like really load up on that page and give myself visual reminders. So it was because of the planner that I started actually tracking monthly what my circulation was and how many books I added and how many books I weeded. So I went through when I got my new planner, and every month I wrote down reminders. How many books were circulated? What's my year to date? How many did I weed? How many did I add? And they're just really good visual reminders for me to kind of just touch base with my data, so that when the end of the year does roll around and I need that data, it's really quick and easy to access. So just a few things that I did to kind of help me do what I need to do.
Thank you so much. From what I hear from you, it's fluidity. And that's basically what we were trying to do here. Like, I have 9 periods of the day. So I go in, I haven't done this yet, of course, I'm on summer mode, but I will go in with a ruler and I will break this up into 9 periods for the whole year. So I can write down what I'm doing. So I'm in a high school, so it's very flexible, but I can quickly look at my calendar and say, yes, I can accommodate you. Yes, I can go to your class, or I have a webinar that period, or I need to meet with somebody. I will break it up into my 9 periods. And on the left-hand side, I write the times, or I write period 1, period all the way down. And I leave a little space if I need like a to-do list for the week or something, I'll put that there, but I'll just switch in there like the period number. So I draw the lines there. We were thinking about maybe keeping this like open with no lines, but then you get people who are like, where are my lines? So if you do it mathematically, it kind of comes out not perfect, but like you have seven classes, I have 9 periods. It kind of comes out kind of even. I don't know how it did that. The graphic designer, I don't know, must have been a mathematician, but it kind of comes out really good. You were talking about like the questions, and we were also talking about how the layout changed. A friend of mine, when she first got her planner last year, took it to the beach and read all the tips, went through every week. I'm like, what are you doing? It's like a Kinder egg. You're supposed to open it and find the prize inside and savor it. And she went and read the whole thing. But I was like, well, maybe that's what she needed. Maybe that's how she worked. So that's why they're all in the back like that. And I have to be honest, that whole part on the bottom of it was my favorite, I could, or when I use this, Heidi from Demco, that wasn't my idea. I think that was maybe yours or the graphic designers. I don't know, but I didn't come up with that. So I can't take credit for that, but I do like that too, because you can check it off and write a little note to yourself. So again, I wanted it every week you opened it and it revealed, but sometimes it's like, if you want something, you want it now. So I totally understand where you're coming from. And I think it's easier to find those things too. And last but not least, we have Lisa.
Hi, there's been so many wonderful ideas shared. I'll try to keep it brief with things that I used last year and then things I'm looking forward to using this year. So I also have the tabs, but then one thing else I just ordered, which I'm loving so far, is I bought a pack of those like magnetic bookmarks with different colors, because I was using sticky notes last year or something to try to help me quickly find the page that I'm on currently. And I know they make ones that like pop into the binding, but those were a pain to like always rip out and put in for every new week. So I have some different colors that can help me quickly find like, where's my week for this week? And then like, where are my, one of the things I talked about in my video was the book requests. So I can quickly flip through and find that page. One of the things I'm excited to having this in the planner, this was not in the planner last year, but I used one of the pages for it to jot down, was my students are always coming up to me like, do we have this book? Can we get this book? You know, or when I talk to other staff and get curriculum ideas, and I would put them on sticky notes and I would have different notebooks and things. And I love that I can have it all in one place. So when I'm going and building my next book order, things can be all together, and even jotting down who requested it, so that I can make sure when it comes in, I can let that person know and they can be first on the list to check it out. The other things that I'm excited that they added were the vendors tabs for when we get those calls and we can just jot down that contact information. Yes, lots of post-it notes used to go involved with. So some of the things that were added are now going to take the place in my, ideally, we'll see how it goes, that they will be now all having everything in one place. The other thing I just want to quickly mention that I did like last year, but I, like others have said, just getting used to the planner did take time. So it's okay. I think give yourself that allowance that you might not use every feature right from the start. That monthly place to keep track of the goals and the statistics and the data. I did not do that for the first part of the year, but as the year went on, I started being, oh, that's good. I can add those in there and keep track of that information. So I am looking forward to starting the year with that this year and having that all in one place. But yes, thank you so much for listening to our feedback, and I'm excited to have this again this year.
Awesome. That kind of infographic page, I find it's very easy, easy to write statistics down. But last year's I had it very, I had more boxes and I had like database usage and this and that. And then I had people who are like, well, I don't do that. Okay, well then relabel it. But sometimes, sometimes it's easier to make bigger boxes. So that's what I did. We made bigger boxes that you can even add things in that box, or if you wanted to put a line in the box and make your own. I don't want to give you blank sheets that you're kind of like you're alone and you don't have any help, but I also don't want to make it too prescriptive where it doesn't fit for you. So if you notice that there are fewer boxes this year, but they are bigger, and I lumped things together that made sense. And again, if you don't like it, cut it up, relabel it, do whatever you like with those boxes. But I really like those boxes because they keep me on track. So we went through all of our Power Planner users. I want to thank you everyone for all of your help and for your feedback in the survey and in the Facebook group and on your reviews and all those great things, and taking time to make those awesome videos. I know it took time to do that, but you all did fabulous. I'm going to segue into some featured librarians, because this infographic is a really great way to segue into James Allen. And if James is still here in the group, James, you're here. This infographic page, and you know what I'm talking about. Your infographic is fantastic. Do you want to talk about the importance of creating infographics and sharing out information and statistics about your library? I hate to put you on the spot, but I know that you could say this in your sleep and you'd be brilliant.
No, you're good. I saw request on a Facebook group, and somebody was looking for one that a public library had done. And to be honest, I mean, maybe I shouldn't be that honest. I don't know. Depending on where you are, this infographic is more important than other places. So like, take that bit of advice, I guess. Like, a place where it's not 1,000% important, but even if it's, not something you depend on, I think it's just good to look back at, see trends. And that Boss Librarian PD that's coming up, I'm doing a session on making one of those infographics automatic, where you just put it into a Google form and it adds up the numbers, and you can create, collect qualitative stuff too, like those wins that you're talking about that you have in your space for in your planner. But yeah, I don't know if anybody ever has any questions, reach out to me. I'll help you out.
James is magnificent. If you see in the School Libraries Rock Facebook group, if you're in there, I know he's posted in a Future Ready Librarians Facebook group, this really awesome infographic that I have to sit down and figure out how you do, because it's beautiful, and it is automated. I'm a pen and paper person, but James really makes it look so good and makes it look so easy. And it's a really great talking point. It's a really great way to see the importance of school libraries to stakeholders and data. Thank you, James, for putting that in there. Thank you. In my screen right now, I also see to the left of James, for me, I see Kevin Washburn. So Kevin, would you like to say anything you like?
Hello, everyone, and hi from the nation's capital. For those that know me, I'm the director of library programs for DC Public Schools, and I have the amazing boss librarian, Casey Boyd, as one of my colleagues. And so my little snippet in the profiles in the planner is about advocacy. And so I really love what James said about the developing these resources that track and show ways that your work is powerful and impactful. Because the thing about what's happening in DC and our ability to guarantee school library jobs, ensure that librarians are getting high impact, recognized, valued for what they're doing, it comes from evidence. And so that evidence needs to be anything that you're doing or touching in the day. The thing about the school librarian role is we're very humble. We are also very much dedicated to our work, but we also have to redirect ourselves in, we've got to brag about ourselves. We've got to be able to know what we're doing and talk and tell other people about it. So these artifacts are so crucially important. And the things that you're designing in the planner, the sessions that you're crafting, the collaboration that's taking place, that is evidence. You can use it either truly as take a picture of it, send it with your reports to administrators that look at the great collaboration that's taking. You've got to be able to draw yourself into this place of knowing your power and leveraging your power. So James, thank you for getting me a great talking point. And thank you, Christina. I love you. I think you're amazing. So inspiring to see how you take this really innovative idea and launch it to giant national and probably international influence campaigns. So kudos to you.
Well, I can't do it alone. I can't do it alone. None of us can. So I really want to thank you for that. Thank you for your advocacy, and thank you for your support. Looking at my list, I see Jennifer Casatad. I see you in there, and I see you talking a lot in the chat about digital citizenship. I see you talking a lot about book talks and social media. Jennifer, would you like to share?
Sure. I was just so pleased to be able to contribute to this, and I've never used the planner before, so I'm excited to be able to use it. For my part, I was able to share some of the information that I feel really strongly about, and that's to have a really student-centered library and to amplify student voice. And so some of the things that I do revolves around social media, because it is a passion of mine to have students use social media in different ways. And so I know a lot of my students are interested in TikTok and specifically book talk. So we've really worked together around how do you create that in such a way where students' voices are being amplified, but at the same time, TikTok is banned at my school board. Just one of the things that that I do with students is they co-create it with me on my account. I'm the one who posts it. All of the ideas come from them. For me, what I would love to see, and I know that this is the mission of many of us, is for students to see themselves, both in our collections, in the physical spaces. And I feel like social media allows us to help them see themselves online in our online spaces as well. So that was one of the things that I contributed. So thank you for the opportunity to do that.
Thank you so much. And Jennifer is an author, and she also has a website. So if you want to visit her and learn more about using social media, the power of social media with your students, and on Twitter and on social media, please look her up. Okay, I'm going to go through my list. I see my friend Anne again, Anne, whose birthday is today.
Hi.
Anne. So Anne, what would you like to share?
Well, I just want to say how much like my current district I'm in now, how much they appreciate the green screen thing. When I first started it, I was really nervous about it. I'm like, how am I ever going to do this? Right. So I took a chance when I worked at Malvern, and I was part-time librarian in Malvern. And then when I went to Comac, the first year I got hired there, she's not there anymore, but like one of the women that hired me, the director, said, why don't you have a workshop? I'm like, okay. Loving it so much, and realize for everyone, one thing you have to do, take chances. Even if you're worried, oh, it's not going to work out, always take that chance, because it came down to this principal bringing a green screen with a stand up to the library for me to use. And he's very, very supportive of the library. So that's really a good thing. So, yeah.
Yes, so Anne's information, Anne's tip in the book is about using green screen with your students, which I just think is fabulous.
It's a lot of fun. What I did is I collaborated with teachers, and they were doing animal reports. So when I was in the primary school, I made them in the background, like whatever, polar bear, they were in the snow with the polar bear, and that would be the cover. For this one, I did a cute little Adopt Me thing for grades 3 to 5. And I have to say, though, I'm sure some of you heard of Doink. A couple of years ago, I did it with all of 3rd grade. And let me tell you, for the last month of school, I was up until 3 o'clock every morning trying to put them together. It was like 200 students. And then my principal said, did you know you can also do it on WeVideo? I'm going to get so I'm going to explore that a little. I know there are other options as far as, and then the kids can do it. They can have their Chromebooks and, maybe make them do some of it, and they'll learn a lot more. So, but it's a lot of fun.
And it's a really great example of perseverance and keeping on trying.
Thank you. It's so sweet.
And having a supportive administrator.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
yeah.
Both the assistant and the principal are very supportive. Not so in every school I've been in.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But take chances. That's my big word of advice leaving here. Take chances. Thank you.
You're welcome. I feel like, romper room, who's in my magic mirror? I see Steve next, actually. Steve. Hey, Steve. Good to see you.
Thanks so much. Man, I tell you, it's like being on stage with the Beatles and the Rolling Stones and Van Halen. Like, this is awesome. I also have not used a planner probably since I was a student, and I'm going.
Oops, we lost him. Can you hear me? Okay, I think we lost Steve there for a second. Oh, Steve, I don't know if you can hear us.
And it's already starting to fill up, and school doesn't even start for another month and a half. But I am so stoked to be able to have something that adds. I mean, one of the things I love to do in my weekly newsletters is I put in a little, these are the different kinds of holidays or different kinds of days that are going on. And here they all are. Like, I'm not going to have to spend half my day looking things up next year. I'm going to have them all right here ready to go. It's just, it's so awesome. Plus the months. I love that it's got the November is, October is. I've already started circling. Here are the ones I'm going to be using for my displays. Like, this is just such an outstanding resource. And I'm really, really excited to be able to use it and dig into it. And I love, I mean, just hearing all the awesome stuff everybody's sharing. When James was talking about data and you were talking about the infographic, I'm making myself notes. Don't forget, every month, make sure you get your stats and your information. So thank you all so much for sharing all your awesome thoughts and ideas and techniques, tools, books. I've already got my TBR list filling up with all the 52 awesome books that have been suggested. So this is just such an outstanding resource. So thank you so much. I really appreciate everybody's contributions, and especially Christina for putting it together and inviting me to take part. This is really wonderful.
Thank you so much. That calendar, I will say, it takes a lot of work, because we cross-reference all those dates to see if the dates change every year or they're static. Yeah, so you have to really go into that. And if you notice, someone did ask me about birthdays. The only reference to a book you'll really see is Harry Potter, because that was my sister's favorite. I have a secret. I've tried reading it and I can't. I've tried it several times, but in celebration of my sister, Harry Potter's in there. But that's the only one, because I felt that if I added authors' birthdays and books and things like that, I'd be missing someone. So I went the other route of mentioning no one in the point of inclusivity. I didn't want anyone to be left out. So that's why they're not in there. The holidays or events are more related to literature or reading, or sometimes, I like putting in things that have to do, like, blind awareness. I have a student who is legally blind, having disabilities, putting in there, having different religious holidays, and if you see anything that needs to be added, please let me know, because I do want to make it all inclusive. That and the list of children's literature awards, those were two passions of mine, to make people aware of what's out there that we might not know about. So thank you for really honing in on that, Steve. We have Joyce Valenza. Hi, Joyce, one of my mentors. Joyce walked away. Oh, Joyce.
I have.
If you want to pop in, if you want to say something, it's up to you.
I'm frozen.
Oh, okay. Well, we could hear you. We can't see you, but we could hear you.
Oh, you can hear me.
We can hear you just fine.
Okay. Here, I think I'm back. Thank you, Christina. This is brilliant. I am so excited. I've recommended it for my students, and I think it's a gift to LIS students, because they can really see what it looks like, especially my field experience students. They can bring this into their practice. I love also that you've got strategic planning involved at the end. The one thing, can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
In addition to your wins, I would also have on that page a problem that you've identified worth solving. And then that problem could move to the strategic planning area. And then you could see your progress year after year in the problems you've identified and then moving forward. I'm really
Love
thrilled. I
that.
have been loving the tips, sharing them with my students. And this is brilliant. I mean, 30 years ago, I tried to do this, but I couldn't with power tools. And this is really what I had dreamed about. And I'm so happy to see it come to life in this form. It's beautiful.
If you haven't seen the Power Tools resource that Joyce created, it is amazing. It is a resource, it's basically a workbook of forms and tips, and it is the library planner on steroids.
But it was 30 years ago.
But Joyce, it is classic. I go through that.
Let's put the two things together.
You need to bring that back.
Well, let's talk,
Yes,
but
let's talk, because it is amazing.
It's brilliant. You know, I also wish I had an OCR device so I could move the things back from my digital to my physical calendar. That's an invention I want to see.
I love that idea. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Christina. This is a gift. Thank you.
Thank you. You're a gift. And we have Katie McNamara. Hi, Katie.
Hi all. Well, major kudos. This is amazing. I don't know if you caught the message in the chat, but like every time I open this up, I just see some other piece of awesome and it's fabulous. One of my personal goals this year is to like be more on it with sharing the data with the admin and all that. So I love that that's already like embedded. You're like, okay, I've got something that's going to remind me, yes, do this. And then that with the power tip from James, I am all set to like rock that goal this year. So thank you. And then I just, in case no one's seen it, it's a hug. So major kudos, whoever's idea this is, but it's all still comes back to you, Christina. So thank you. At the very end, the reflections hitting to personal, that we're not just employees at a school, we're an actual human being as well, and giving time and space to that. That's the hug. I love that part so much. So thank you. And I think each of us are at a different point of our journey. So when I was asked about my tip, I was really struggling with getting on board with self-selected reading, or sometimes we call like free range reading, like that reference to chickens. So that's what mine is all about. Like, oh my gosh, how do we do this still? And you've got like some schools like, well, I don't have time for this. But then you're arguing about literacy rates. Like, how do we get better at reading? Oh, we need to pay $50,000 million for some expert to come in and tell us all these things. No, y'all, we need to help kids read. So, mine is all about that. I just kind of basically tweaked a traditional interest reading survey and made it a physical reading interest survey for people like physically go there. So I have some different like labels that worked for my students' interests. So real easy to like take the same steps, but like change them to the interests of the students that you're working with at that time. So again, thank you everyone. I'm so excited to like really own this year with the power of the planner.
You know, I just love hearing everyone's voice, because when I go through the planner, I see your face. That's one of my hugs. I get to see your faces. I look through the planner. I'm like, oh, look who's there. And I feel like all my friends are with me. But not to hear your voice and to see you at ISTE and things like that. We don't always get that opportunity. And we are islands unto ourselves sometimes. And hearing your voice today and seeing you in the planner, it just brings me joy, because I feel like I'm not alone. When I was an English teacher 28 years ago, I felt alone. And as a librarian 28 years later, I don't feel alone. I feel like I am with my people, and you're my people. And I have lots of different groups of people, and some are techie, and some are focusing on reading, and some are focusing on makerspace. But we are all librarians, and we're all doing good things for our kids, and advocating. And just, it brings me joy to hear your voice, Katie, and everyone else I've heard today. And it brings me joy to see your face in the planner with everyone. And as I go through, I'm not alone.
Yeah, thank you. So that made me think of an idea I had. So I almost like lost it. So thank you for bringing that back. It would be so awesome if we had like a podcast series or something with these 52 people at the end, so we can hear. And then they're probably doing these tips again this year. And you know, as you do something again, you make some other modifications and to share that story too. And then the excitement behind it, like the whys and whatnot, you know, like the truth behind the scenes. Those are always so cool.
Brilliant, brilliant.
That's what
brilliant,
librarians are. Brilliant.
Brilliant. I am not worthy. Again, I'm being selfish because when I put all of you together, I learn so much. Oh, thank you. I love that. We're connecting. We're talking about that. We'll talk. I'm going through names and faces. If I missed anyone who would like to speak, please just jump in, give a shout out. We are rounding off the hour. I can't believe it's been an hour. I felt like it's been only 5 minutes. We are going to have some prizes at the end, but I see a really great thread going in the chat. We are recording this, but I don't want to shut anyone down, and I want to empower all your voices. If anyone wants to jump in and speak, please be my guest. Don't even wait for me to call your name. Just say, Chris, I want to speak, and just unmute yourself and just jump right in.
Chris, I want to speak.
Yes.
I did put it in the chat, but one of the things that I think is so amazing about this planner is its how versatile it is. And I heard that through several people that spoke, that I don't use it this way, but I use it that way. And so what an amazing thing you have done. First of all, creating something that is so specific to our profession, but then tweaking it with the feedback of so many people, but still allowing growth for using the planner the way you want to use it. And nobody talked about the notes page next to the infographic page that you have there. So, you know, if you don't find what you want in the infographic, there's that whole notes page. So just thank you for making something so wonderful.
Oh, again, you're welcome. I listen. That's all I can do, and that's all we need to do is to listen to our kids. Thank you for that. Carrie Ann is another Power Planner user. Carrie Ann, you want to jump in? I love your little frame there.
Yeah, I just love it. I've been in this shtick for about 13 years, and every single time I'll just say I always got a teacher planner, and it just was never enough. And having this, like, I just got so giddy and excited to be a part of it, and to thank you to just, I don't know, and it's just awesome. I just love it, and I do love this community 100%. And I just gotta say, I'm a little homesick because I'm hearing some people with my Long Island accents, and it's making me severely homesick because I'm from New York. I'll always identify as a New Yorker, but I've been living in North Carolina for over 10, 11 years. So I've kind of lost my accent a little bit, but I'm just getting a little homesick. It's awesome having each and every one of you guys here. It's so cool because, yes, like an island, I felt like I was just thrown into my position, and it's like, okay, sink or swim, right? And so I've learned in the past couple of years being a part of social media, the great power of it has made me feel like we're not alone. So thank you again. I mean, seriously, this is an awesome community to be a part of. So thanks, y'all.
It is. It's the best job out there. And Carrie Ann, my door is open. Come down to Long Island. My door is open for you. My door is open to all of you. And I know Ann. I see Ann right next to you, on my screen right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Ann McKernan. I am also somebody who came to librarianship in my mid-50s. I just finished my first year of full elementary. I had been middle school before that. And I think every age lost something in the pandemic. And my last year's first graders didn't have managed care or daycare or preschool. And it really showed. And I see them the last 45 minutes of the day, and they, especially at the start of the year, were done. And they were killing me. I was coming from middle school, and holy cow, it was awful. And so I started making centers. So my contribution in the back was about centers and the power of centers. And it really helped behaviorally for those kids to be manipulating the entire 45 minutes I had them. So after working with first grade, I started expanding to other grades as a way to take a little break or a filler in between units, things like that. So that's what my tips are about. But Christina, I would just love to thank you for all of your encouragement and kindness and acceptance. And what a great example you have shown to our community of bringing people together and being passionate about what we love and sharing that with our students. So thank you so much.
All right, now you're making me cry. But I really truly love everyone here, and I can't thank you enough. I can't, because when we feel energized and when we feel hugged and we feel welcomed, then we can do the same for our kids. And when we don't feel that, it takes a lot of energy. We'll always do the best for our kids, but it takes a lot of energy to do that. And it takes energy from us. But when we come together like this and we can, regroup and energize, and like I said, just, if I'm having a day and I could just, at my desk, I'm looking through a planner and I see a smiling face, I'm like, oh, I'm not alone. So I thank you for that.